Tired of winning the tailgate, but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jakob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
It's beginning to look a lot like signing day. Like Christmas almost, Andy.
It kind of is. You just don't know what you're going to get underneath the tree. We had kind of an idea what we were going to get with all the different signings coming a little earlier.
Pretty good idea. And then they announced 6 today. And, they also have another one on the way. They kind of hinted at that in the presser. But yeah, I just want to record just a little bit piece, and then we could throw it over to the main interview segment that, we got to be a part of.
The last thing I want to add in here, though, Jacob, is because today was signing day, February 1st, but it goes all the way to August 1st. So you have a lot of time. We potentially could still get a lot of people coming in, coming out, that type of deal. So today is the big day, but there are things that are going to continue to happen all the way to August 1st, hopefully for Texas State. Yeah,
and one of the questions, you'll hear it obviously, but I was like, hey, you had a pretty decent team. You were able to return, a lot of people. So they're excited about that, as well as, all the new additions they had. You had 30 guys. A lot of your team is going to change. So, yeah, this is February 1st, National Signing Day, of course. We're going to have our, weekly episode still, but this is a nice little tidbit that we could add, a little salt-based sprinkle. So,
sprinkle all those recruits in. Sprinkle them all in.
Yeah. Ball Squaring Pod on Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Whatever the intro says. I don't know what they say anymore. So.
Square it up.
Here's the interview. Boom.
All right. So before I turn over, Coach, you guys know the drills here. If you guys we'll have Coach give an opening statement. If there's any questions, just use that little hand reaction thing. I'll call on you, and we'll go from there. But appreciate everyone jumping on. I know it's a little messy out there, but appreciate everyone dedicating the time here. Hopefully it's a little easier for you. So Coach Kinne, take it away.
Appreciate it, Chris. Yeah. Really excited about the guys that we signed. Our staff went to work as soon as we got the job, and I think you can tell that by the quality of guys that we signed. I'm actually moving today, so you see me. I'm in my new truck that I got here down to San Marcos Dodge. So excited about that, and we were supposed to move yesterday because of the weather. It got pushed back today, so not the best circumstances. But I'm here, and I was hoping to see Kef and the dog sled, but I wasn't able to get down. But yeah, really excited about the guys that we signed. Quality guys. We wanted to add length, wanted to add speed. We had to get some impact guys, some guys that come in and play right away. We feel like we did that. To go along with our guys on our current roster. Obviously the focus was on Texas high school kids, whether that was, coming out of high school now, JUCO or the portal. So just the focus has been on that, and that won't change. So after that, I'll open up to questions.
Yep. So if anyone has questions, Kev, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you've signed 32 so far. It seems like there's another one out there we don't know about. How many more do you anticipate you signing? How full do you want your class to get?
Yeah, I think we'll announce one more today, and then it'll be fluid the rest of the time. We'll go through spring ball and kind of see what happens there, and then after that, just kind of fill the needs as they come. With the portal and everything going on, it's hard to say an exact number, but it'll be a fluid 85 for sure.
You signed another quarterback today to go in the quarterback room with Malik Hornsby. You brought in PJ Hatter. Tell us about PJ Hatter. What was it about him that you really liked and wanted to bring him here?
Yeah, I thought PJ was awesome. His film, I think he had like 66 total touchdowns this past season, which is obviously the production was there. He's a dual threat guy, the speed, the athleticism. But I think for me, once I got him onto campus last weekend and got to know him and his family and his character and the type of person he is, going to his high school and talking to his high school coaches, That's really what sold me. The film is always good, but getting to know the person, especially the quarterback position, is always huge. So really excited about PJ and the production that he's bringing to the quarterback room.
It seemed the focus was really heavily on defensive backs and offensive linemen, specifically defensive backs. You signed 7 of them. What made you feel like you needed to bring in so many guys and to kind of supplement the type of defense you're looking for?
Yeah, you can never have too many defensive backs, too many offensive linemen. We need length, we need speed, we need size at the defensive back position. We lost some guys, to the portal and to graduation. So with the way we play our defense, we're aggressive. We play a lot of man-to-man coverage. So as much as we can rotate those guys, the better. But we have some really solid guys on campus already that I'm really excited about. But got some guys in this signing class that we can develop, and also guys that we expect to come in and play.
Well, go ahead.
All right, Coach. I noticed there's a lot of these transfers are coming over from the Incarnate Word. What did you feel like with these group of players? You felt like, despite playing at the FCS level, they can contribute at the FBS level?
Yeah, I think some of those UIW guys are some of the best guys we signed. Once again, we know those guys. We know what we're getting. Very high character guys, great football players. Really kind of what we want. This thing to look like. Let's start with the offensive linemen. Signing 5 of those guys. 3 of them. Maybe more, but I know 3 of them had Power 5 offers that we were fighting off to get here, and those offensive line piece, getting those guys allows me to sleep well at night because those guys are really, really talented, really good, really strong. I think that's shown, so far since we got back and started working out in the strength program. Some of our strongest guys are those guys that we signed on the offensive line from UIW. I know we signed Caleb Culp, safety. Another all conference guy that has a ton of production at that level, and another really good person. So Cole Wilson, another freshman All-American receiver coming over from UIW, another guy we expect to come in and contribute. And so getting those guys was huge, and once again, we know those guys, we know what they're about. Any day in the portal, and anytime you sign anyone, I think that's the part that the unknown. You don't really know what those guys are all about every day, but we know those UIW guys, what they're made of.
And I know Texas State lost a couple of good offensive linemen over to the transfer portal. Oh, how important was it to restock that offensive line?
Yeah, it was huge. We got a couple of plug and play guys coming in, and like I said, fighting off Power 5 guys and money and all kinds of stuff to get these guys locked in. That's a credit to Coach Shoemaker's relationship with those guys, Coach Leftwich relationship, my relationship with those guys. They wanted to come play for us. They wanted to come play at Texas State, and they're a huge part of what we're going to be about and moving forward, kind of what we want to be about.
And Jeff, you had your hand raised. I'm not sure if you took it down. All right. No, Jeff. Cap, go ahead.
We didn't get to speak to you since you've signed a lot of these guys. A lot of them were transfers that were brought in between the 2 signing days. Specifically, Malik Hornsby, you brought in Josh Eaton, some high caliber recruits that you're able to bring here. Some guys that you talked about that you wanted to bring transfers back to Texas that initially left the state. What went into recruiting those guys? What was kind of your pitch to get some of these big name high recruits to come here?
Yeah, I'll start off with Malik. That was a wild ride. As soon as he kind of, I identified him, and we identified him as a staff as someone that we like to go after. We pursued him hard, and obviously our pitch was basically what we've done with Lindsey Scott this past year, what Coach Leftwich has done with Cam Ward previously at Incarnate Word. So I think he fits our offense, what we want. Now he's going to bring a little bit different dynamic even than Lindsey. Lindsey was a really good runner, led the Southland Conference in rushing and previously to Incarnate Word. But I think Malik is even a more dynamic runner than him. But we signed him because we think he can play quarterback. He's got the arm talent. You see the high school production. You see the film at Arkansas. The talent is there. And we sold him on the development piece. I played in the NFL. I coached in the NFL. Coach Leftwich has coached nothing but All-Americans in college, which is pretty cool. So the development was a huge pitch. The opportunity to come back to Texas was a huge pitch. He had some other opportunities, but coming back to Texas and having the opportunity to be the guy and the production that this offense has produced speaks for itself. So really excited that Malik's here. He's been awesome since he's been in the building. Extremely hard worker. The speed is real. We time those guys almost twice a week, 3 times a week in the competition, and he's right up there with the fastest guys on the team, if not the fastest. So he's been awesome. Everything we've hoped for so far. I'm really excited to do some football stuff with him. Coming up when spring ball starts. So Malik's been awesome. Josh Eaton, another high profile guy. Coach Greg did a great job identifying him and building that relationship with him. And getting them onto campus and really same type deal. The development part, what we do on defense is unique. We play so much man coverage, and that's how you get to the NFL. Everyone can play zone, who can play man. So that was kind of the pitch to him. He played both ways in high school, and so you never know. We'll try to get him over there on offense some and see what he can do. But another high profile length. We needed length. He's another speed guy, another sub 11 flat 100 guy with great speed, great length. So we're really excited about Josh as well.
And Brant, I'll go to you in a second, but Jeff, I'm going to go back to you. Jeff, take away.
Yeah, sorry guys, my internet has been really weird today. And so, Coach, it actually cut out when you were talking about the UIW guys. It cut out for me. I did hear you mention how important it was that their physical strength, their football IQ. How important is it to have a group of athletes who know your expectations, who know the culture you're trying to build before it actually gets started?
Yeah, it's huge. And I think they've exemplified that since we've been here. Like I said, they're some of the strongest guys on the team. They're not going to be late. They show up on time. There's accountability there. There's a discipline there. And we have plenty of guys on the roster that are doing that as well. So, but just, how you want to win this thing, how you want to build this thing is through guys like that. And that's why we brought them, to be honest with you. There's a lot of great players in the portal and a lot of great players from, different stops that we've been at, but we identified those young men as guys we want in our program.
Brant, take it away.
Coach, you talked a lot about how you were selling these student athletes on playing, within your system and the style of football you're looking to get out of them. But what about Texas State? Impressed the recruits? What were the strengths of the community, of the campus, of San Marcos? How much did that play a role in recruiting?
Yeah, I think getting President Danfus in front of these guys, Don Coryell in front of these guys every weekend was huge. I think that's where it starts. I think the facilities speak for themselves. The renovations that we're going to do, the river, I've talked about that flowing through campus. That's always a highlight. The guys really like that. I think the academic support, Lori and her team that they show and the presentation that they put on, it's a tremendous school, tremendous opportunity for these guys to come in and kind of be the foundation of what we want to build. Was huge. And we go to Austin on Friday nights, this go around and, show the proximity to Austin, the proximity to San Antonio. Some of these guys want to, have their own business someday. We sell that. So really, like we talked about, this place is a gold mine and these recruits fall in love with it. Once they get onto campus, we just got to get them on campus.
Giancarlo, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Coach. My question for you is, since myself and a lot of the student body here at Texas State has been disappointed in the football program in recent years, what is your message and what do you expect from the Texas State student body on these signees and what they'll do coming up in the fall?
Yeah, we're excited to put a brand of football that the students and the fan base can be proud of. I think that's one of the big reasons why I got this job, is because the style of football that we play on offense and defense and on special teams. We're aggressive. We're a tempo offense. We get after it on defense. We led the country in TFL. So we just need you to show up, be proud, get the tailgate going, get loud when you get in the stadium, and expect to, see a lot of points and light up that scoreboard.
Great. Jakob, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the class. I just wanted to ask, obviously a lot of hype for this class, but you got to be excited about what you're seeing from the guys that you already had, right?
Yeah, for sure. We have a lot of really good, players on this team, and we're still getting to learn these guys and, know their strengths, and we'll know a lot more after spring ball. Right now, we're just running and lifting and doing that whole deal. So we'll know a lot more when spring ball starts, kind of what players we have. I know we lost a lot of players to the portal and to graduation, so it was important for us to identify some of those, those losses and add guys that we feel like we can play right away. But obviously, anytime there's a new coach, and there's going to be hype around the signing class that he signed, but we do have some really good players on this team, and some guys that have played a lot of football and been leaders, and they've hosted a bunch of these guys, and they've shown them, San Marcos and what Texas State is all about. So I really appreciate these guys that are, here, that have helped us, and just a couple of guys to highlight that, Charlie Brown has been awesome. He's been at every single official visit, hosted. I mean, I don't know how many guys we've had, over 50 guys, and I would say he's hosted almost all of them. He's a stud. Ashton Hawkins has been huge. Toy Spears has been huge. Demarius Good has been huge. So I don't know, I'm missing some guys, but we have a lot of guys around here at Lincoln that have kind of showed these guys what it's about, and showed them the facility and hung out with them. So and a lot of these guys, the feedback from the recruits has been very positive. They're hungry. They're excited about the new coaching staff, what we're doing so far. So hats off to those guys.
Can you talk just about the road dog aspect? We've all seen the hashtags of where you guys have all been. A lot of schools really quick. Could you just kind of talk about that?
Yeah, we want to get out to as many high schools as we can, and develop those relationships, and that part was, obviously when we get the job, identifying and what we talked about is, signing high school kids, and it's been very receptive, and the high school coaches are pumped to see us, back in schools and offering their kids, and there's so many alums, and you go to each school. I don't think I've been to one where, hey, I went to Texas State, so happy and so glad you guys are here, and all that. So that part's been really fun and really exciting as well.
Carl, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you kind of actually touched on one of the questions that I had prepared, but I was curious, where did the hashtag come from? And you touched on the other one about the state tour, but what was the smallest town that you went through while you were going through Texas that you'd never heard of? And I know you have a lot of UIW staff coming over, so how much is this Texas State team going to look like last year's UIW team in terms of scheme and game plan?
Try to remember everything.
Yeah, sorry about that. I could repeat something if you asked, but smallest town is most important, really.
Smallest town? Oh, man. Well, I went to Gilmer, which is pretty small. I'm sure I, drove through a couple of smaller ones, but, being in Texas and growing up in Texas, and especially East Texas, that's probably where would have gone through some of those small towns. But yeah, I know most of them. But what else did you ask?
Where'd the hashtag come from?
Oh, hashtag. Oh, yeah. I got to give Coach Greg a lot of credit on that. This guy, he's unbelievable recruiter. And I tell the recruits that come in all the time about Coach Greg, there's coaches in college football that get the job done and don't get the job done. Coach Greg delivers almost every time. He's an unbelievable coach, unbelievable recruiter, and he came up with the hashtag, and we went with it, and I think the reception has been awesome. I think people like it. I think it's really cool. So, and it's what we want to do when we take back Texas. So I'm excited about that. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. You got me.
You're good, Coach.
G.J, go ahead.
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
And what was about UIW, Carl?
Yeah. So how much of what you did at UIW are you carrying over in terms of the boundary and field corners, the star back, the 3-back on offense, the up tempo offense, all the above?
don't write a book about us or anything. Don't give us any scouting reports.
I've already tweeted all of this before, Coach.
All right, Carl. Yeah, a lot of that's going to carry over. Obviously, every year you're going to have tweaks, and you got to fit the offense and defense to the personnel. So we'll kind of see more of what we have once spring ball starts and get these guys out on the field and see what they can do. But yeah, exactly what you said. A lot of that will carry over.
All right, let's go Corey, and then we'll go to Colton. Sorry, Colton, but Corey, I want to get a question in there for Corey. I think you're on mute, Corey. Or your audio is not working.
Back to Zoom. I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, sorry, we got to go back to pandemic times. All right, let Corey. We'll come back to you, Corey. Colton, you want to ask a question?
Coach, this class had 7 high school recruits. Can you kind of go behind the scenes of like reestablishing those ties with those Texas high school coaches?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. We went in there, and some of these guys we already knew about, and some of them we didn't. For example, Chris Don and Mari Natwood. I've been recruiting those guys. I'm from the city of Mesquite, so I know their coaches and know their little league coaches and their middle school coaches. So as soon as I got this job and identified, what some of our needs were, those 2 guys come off the top of my head of that, the relationships that we've had, previously, myself and the coaches, for example, just 2 guys that were able to get in and were committed to other schools and get them to flip to us. And it goes back to the relationships. And that part is huge when you're recruiting somebody.
All right, let's try this again, Corey.
Hello, am I good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good now.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Congratulations, Coach, on the job and also on today's class. I know we were talking about that hashtag about Take Back Texas. So I was just wondering, how well do you think y'all executed that hashtag today?
Yeah, I think, I think we signed close to 30 former Texas high school kids or Texas high school kids. So yeah, I feel like we did a really good job as far as that goes. And this class will be the foundation of kind of what we want to build. And I think moving forward, you'll see probably more Texas high school kids, but just the timing of how everything works out and all that, we didn't have enough time to get in there and develop those relationships with some of the kids that we wanted. So very proud of this class and proud of our coaching staff and what they were able to do in Texas and the relationships they were able to build so fast.
All right, Giancarlo.
All right, Coach. My question again from the point of view of the students, but it might be a stretch, but do you believe these guys and this group that you have on the current roster can get to a bowl game within the next couple of seasons? Because as the students, that's the number one thing I would say is most important to them, is getting to a bowl game as soon as possible.
Yes, I believe with this roster we got, now I got to see him on film see him on, in practice and work with them and all that. But our plan is to go to a bowl this year, but we work every day and we're building and we want to build a champion, and that's what we're breaking out every day, to champions. And that's Sun Belt and conference champions, that's bowl champions, champions on and off the field. So to your question, we want to be, bowl champions, and we feel like we can deliver that to you this year.
Brant, go ahead.
Couple questions here for you, Coach. One, you talk a lot about building relationships during this recruiting period. Even the guys you offered and didn't get, how important was it for you to establish relationships with their high school coaches and not knowing what the future may hold in terms of the transfer portal, or maybe a guy you offered today becomes available again a couple of years down the road? How important was it for you to just build as many relationships as possible?
Yeah, that part is huge. You hit on it, getting back in these high schools, developing those relationships, offering kids, whether or not we got them, we might be able to get them on the rebound if they do go in the portal. I think one good story from this signing class is Drew Donnelly, a guy that I identified really early when I was at Hawaii. Receiver transferring from Cincinnati. I believe I was one of his first or second offers out of high school, and had that relationship with him. So when he went in that portal, we were able to get it done fast and without him even, coming on an official visit, because of the relationship that we had and being the first offer is big. You'll see that a lot with our staff. We want to be the first offer if we can. Now we want to do our due diligence and that do the whole process. But if we can be someone's first offer, that's something special to these kids and their high school coach. And, you believed in them first. And that's what happened with Drew. We believed in him first and to get him, someone with his type of speed, talking about Drew a little bit, his production, you see him, going down as a gunner at Cincinnati and the speed he has. He ran a 10-1 in high school. We feel like this guy can come in here and make an immediate impact. So really excited to have Drew.
One more for you from me. How do you feel as if yourself and your staff handled the challenge of the timing of everything? You take the job while you're still at Incarnate Word, finishing a season there. So you're trying to finish out that year, trying to piece together a staff here, and trying to recruit as well, all before this signing day and the other one in December. How do you see if you handled the challenge of the timing of everything?
Yeah, I think you just control what you can control, and I think our staff did a great job with that. We hit the ground running, and I think every night when we went to sleep, we could be happy and proud of what we accomplished that day, and we were able to sign some really good players and win a bunch of football games at UIW and start developing those relationships at Texas State. So I felt like we did a really good job and really proud of the staff and the way they handled things.
All right, Jeff.
Coach, a signing day interview or a press conference in a brand new truck is a new one for me. So I want to hear about all the bells and whistles, man. What kind of truck are you sitting in? How proud are you of that machine?
Oh yeah, I like it. We got a little Dodge Ram 1500 Longhorn edition. You got all kinds of good bells and whistles over here, and so really excited and happy to work with Russell and those guys over there. That was a big time to get the job done, and we sealed the deal. Russell was professional in everything he did, and he got me to commit and sign right away.
All right, and a little more of a football question. You mentioned that you guys break out every huddle, every practice on the word champions. Has that been your word for seasons, or do you update how you break out every huddle every season? And if so, is that a player decision or your decision?
Yeah, that's something that we did last year at UIW and we're doing here. And that's we talk about habits reflect the mission. The mission is to be champions. On the field, classroom, community. So it's easy. We won't have a lot of different slogans and logos and chants and all that throughout my time here at Texas State. It's pretty simple. Habits reflect the mission, and missions being champions.
All right, Coach, trying to get that NIL deal. Carl, go ahead.
Coach, what was the final makeup as of today? I mean, I imagine 24/7, 365 is the recruiting, so you're still going to have other players in. But as of today, what was the kind of balance between transfers and high school signings?
I think there was 17 offense, 16 defense. I don't know that I have the exact number somewhere. Let's look at it here. Yeah, 17 offense, 16 defense, 13 transfers from Texas, 28 former Texas high school guys, 27 home state from Texas, 2 Florida, 2 Mississippi, 1 Louisiana, 1 North Carolina, 19 transfers total, 7 JUCO, 7 high school.
We'll have that on recording later. Thank you.
There you go.
And part 2 of the question, have you been able to keep track of the Eagles' dominance to the Super Bowl so far?
Of course. I think what those guys are doing is awesome, and rooting for those guys in the Super Bowl, finding out if I'm going to go or not. I'm talking to my guy Lane, see if I can get a ticket. But, what those guys, what Lane has done at right tackle, the last couple of weeks playing through his injury. And, that's been really cool to see. I think, one of the big storylines, what Jeff Stoutland does with that O-line year after year. You have, multiple Hall of Famers on the offensive line. I think Jalen Hurts, being a Texas high school quarterback and having the MVP season has been really cool. I think, Howie Roseman, the executive of the year, did it again. He built a Super Bowl winning roster, and I think the D line has been really cool and really fun to watch. So yeah, I think the Eagles have I think they're the best team. We'll see if they can pull it out. You never know how it goes in the Super Bowl, but I'm rooting for the Eagles and excited for everyone over there, and all my former players and former coaches.
Jakob, go ahead.
Coach, you talked about some of the physical measurables that you guys are after. Is there anybody that impressed you, with some of the stuff they have the potential to do off the field, talking about potential community leaders, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think, our UIW offensive linemen kind of reach out. They had a program they were at UIW, and they were champions in the community, all 5 of those guys. So we're going to continue to carry that over at Texas State. But yeah, there's a lot of guys on the roster that are doing really good things. And as soon as we get back off the road recruiting, we're going to implement some of those programs that we did at UIW.
Just a quick follow-up. I'm surprised nobody beat me to it. You have any reaction to Brady hanging it up the second time?
I haven't. I saw the Twitter, but I haven't really got to see the video or anything. I mean, he's obviously goes down as probably the greatest of all time, and great quarterback, and great leadership skills. Someone that exemplifies, maybe not the most talent, but the hard work and dedication, and his really mastering his craft, came through his work ethic. So great player, and happy for him to maybe he'll stay retired this time.
Okay, Giancarlo, is your hand still up from last time? Do you have another question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have another question. Another thing I wanted to touch on, which you kind of touched on earlier, was, under the weather, but the character of the signees, and when you recruited and talked to the current roster, such as like their work ethic, community leaders, like you spoke about, was it important for y'all to get good character and real well-rounded guys on this roster of Texas State?
Yeah, that's always important. And, you never know till you get them here, and you get them in there and you work with them, but you got to lean on the high school coaches. You got to lean on the coaches that they're transferring to, if you have relationships there, and you're never going to be 100%, but we feel like we did a really good job in that area.
All right, last person, Kef Cuba Gooding Jr. Tardello, go ahead.
I just have a couple for you. The first announcement today was actually a really big one with Josh DeLeon. Had some offers from Baylor, TCU, some big programs. He was kind of a surprise signing. What went into recruiting him?
Yeah, I think just getting him on campus once again, and Shu did a really good job of identifying him and building that relationship with him, I think he's a really good player. We still got some work to do as far as getting him here, but he's a good player, and we'll see how that turns out.
And it seemed the one position that really didn't have any signees today was outside linebacker. Is that kind of an indication that you're pretty confident what you have in Jordan Revels, Isaiah Nixon, Ben Bell? Are you pretty confident in that position and the guys you have?
Yeah, I think you'll see, in our defense, we're more of a 4-down front. So we'll recruit more 4-down linemen, true defensive ends, and, more Mike and Wills. And then our star position, our nickel positions, more of a, corner safety. So you'll see true, 2 inside linebackers, and then a more of a hybrid safety corner type body. And then you'll see some of those other guys play more defensive end. But we are multiple, we'll go 4 down, we'll go 3 down, some more of that stand-up jack type body that you'll see. But all those guys, we have, big plans for those guys, and we're excited to have those guys on the roster and kind of see where they fit, though, on the defense, where exactly they're going to go as this thing, plays out.
Could you see any of those guys I just named possibly moving to the D line, putting their hand in the ground, or do you see them more like at that hybrid safety linebacker position you were just talking about, or a little bit of both, or what do you think?
Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, we just need to see him out there at practice and see him moving around, and we see him on film, and so we have a pretty good idea where we want him to put him. But I think once we get out there on the field, we'll have more information for you.
Well, good, Kev. All right. Looks like we're all good. Appreciate everyone jumping on. Coach, thank you very much. Go enjoy your move.
Yep.
Everyone stay
Yep.
safe. We'll see y'all.
All right.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.